Let's take some thrifted shirts and upcycle them into beautiful market bags. Okay, so here's what we're going to need for this project. I like to take a shirt that has some kind of detail on the bottom. Fringe, I love if it has fringe or lace on the bottom. Okay, we're also going to need some fabric scissors, a tape measure. I like to use these cotton napkins. They work perfectly. And I take my lace curtains that I use to upcycle and embellish clothing, and you see this little strip here that goes on the curtain rod? This strip is going to be our handle of the bag. Okay, so let's start cutting. Okay, you're going to line up the bottom. Normally the tops that I use don't really have a big flare like this. Usually they're straight on, but that's okay. We can fix that, obviously. So you're going to want to line up the bottom so that it's nice and even when you sew it. And we're going to cut we want to get the maximum amount of fabric to make this. So you're going to cut right under the armpit. Unfortunately, we're going to cut through the design here, but that's okay. This I'll use for another project. These I will use for another project, or maybe I'll even use it on this market bag. So to cut a straight line, well, gotta line this up still. Still not lined up perfect. All right, maybe I should stick a pin in it so it stops moving around. That's what I'll do. See my Barbie nails? They're they're all chipped. I have to redo them today. And I have a video coming showing how to do these. They're so easy, how to do French nails. Save you lots of money from going to the salon and getting French nails done. And it's simple and easy. You'll be shocked when you see how easy it is and how inexpensive. And I will link that below in the description box. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut under the armpit, line it up, just gonna grab my rotary cutter. Okay, so now I cut that, and I'm gonna want my bag, I think I want my bag to be a little straighter on the sides. Okay, so I decided that I don't want this flared bottom. I want my bag to come down straight. Even though I'm gonna lose some area for putting things in the bag, I still feel like I want this straight. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn it inside out, line these pieces up, ribbon to ribbon here. Embroideries that are going to be cut off, I'm using in another project. So I don't mind cutting off the pretty embroidery because I have another cute little project in mind, and it calls for some embroidery embellishment. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up here I mean, you don't have to be perfect. It's just going to be a market bag, but it's not going to, you don't have to be perfect here. Okay, so I'm going to line this up with one of my edges. I am just cutting the seam open here because a front and back of a top is not the same exact size because the human body is not the same front and back. So I'm just doing that so that I could lay it out flat and be able to cut a nice even shape. I'm just sticking some pins along the side here so that I can keep everything together, and when I cut it, it doesn't move around on me. I am using the piece that I cut off as a guide so that I can make this bag even on both sides. But remember, this is a market bag. It doesn't need to be perfect. You know, as long as it's sewed together and it's sturdy, it'll be perfect to go shopping with. Okay, so I stitched down the sides and then I added a zigzag. So now what we're going to do, and you can do this with any shirt you like. The heavier the cotton, the better, you know, for a strong market bag. The larger the shirt, the better as well. Because this is going to be, this will be a little wide, a wide one, but it won't be as deep as some of the other ones I've made. So now I'm going to line up this fringe lace again, because now we're going to sew. Let me flip this around. Now we're going to sew right along here to close up the bottom. You don't want to sew this while you have it inside out with the right sides together, because you're going to end up sewing all your fringe and lace to the inside of the bag, and you want this to hang outside. You want it to, you know, the prettiness to show and flutter as you walk and around the market buying things. I love making these. The other one I showed was from an extra large shirt I had left over from one of my bling boxes, and it made the most beautiful market bag, and I had extra fabric, so I made a matching face mask to go with it that hung off the bag, which was something that the nurses that I donated them to at the hospital during COVID just loved them. Okay, so now I'm going to put a nice stitch here. I'll probably do a straight stitch and then a zigzag to make it nice and strong. Okay, going over to the machine to do that now. So take your 2 napkins and go over to your machine or your Fabri-Tac glue and just make sure that you close up 3 sides of it, because this is the lining of our bag. Now take your bag and turn it inside out, and you're going to attach the inside. So we put it inside the bag like this, and we line up the seams here, and we take it over to the machine and we just sew along the entire top of the bag so that we are attaching the liner to the outer part of the bag. When you have the two pieces lined up, take it over to your machine and sew along the top. Now turn it with the right sides out. And now we're just going to attach our handle. This particular fabric was fraying, so I decided to put a hem along the top before I put the handle on. Now I'm just cutting off the area on the curtain that usually slides over the rod, and this is what I always use for my handles. I took the bag and the strap and I wrapped it around my shoulder to see how long I wanted my bag to hang, and now I'm just cutting it to the size that works for me. Now I'm just pinning the strap in place, and then I'm going to take it over to my machine and I'm going to sew. I decided I wanted to add a ruffle to the top of the bag to make it a little more shabby chic and a little more feminine. So I took the curtain and I took the scalloped edge and I cut pieces of that and I gathered it and sewed it along the top of the bag. Watch until the end of the video and I'm going to show you some of the other bags I made out of tops and how pretty this came out and how fun it is. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you enjoy seeing these videos and would like to see more, please consider subscribing to my channel. Now I'm going to stitch along the top here, and I'm going to add my pretty ruffle, and I'm going to open it up where that pretty embroidery is because I don't want it covered. So I put the lace just from one end of the embroidery around the back to the other side. Now I'm adding a magnetic closure. I'm just hand sewing that on so that none of my little goodies when I go to the market fall out of my bag. And I will put a link to these down in the description box if you are going to do this project and you would like to put a closure on them. And now for the final results, and enjoy the show.
Sometimes like all you want to do is
for watching.
There